Dear students, good morning. Welcome to La Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 18th August 2020. The first article for discussion is Jurisdictional Conflict in the Running of Delhi. This article is written in the context of a recent appointment of public prosecutors in Delhi and the controversy surrounding it. You know that the National Capital Territory of Delhi is a union territory and also a publicly elected government exists over there. That is, Chief Minister and Council of Ministers exist over there. Along with that, a Lieutenant Governor is there as head of the union territory. In the division of powers, all the powers which are there in the state list are there in the Council of Ministers, but land, police, public order, which normally belongs to the states, is kept in the hands of the union. Second, the union parliament can make any law on a subject in the state list in the case of National Capital Territory of Delhi, but executive powers lies with the chief minister heading the council of ministers on all matters in the state list except land, police and public order. This is the essence of Article 239 AA. And there was lot of conflict between position of lieutenant governor and chief minister, and the matter went to the Supreme Court in 2018. The Supreme Court gave a ruling that government of NCT Delhi is the representative of the public and it holds the executive power in its hands. The relations between lieutenant governor and the government shall be guided by the principles like constitutional morality, cooperative and pragmatic federalism, constitutional conscience, etc. If we further elaborate, there is also certain legal grey area with regard to Article 239 AA subclause 4. Let us understand that. There shall be council of ministers to aid and advise the lieutenant governor who may act in accordance with such an advice in all the matters in the state list other than land, public order and police. We are clear till now. The next is the most important thing. In case of difference of opinion, Lieutenant Governor can refer any matter to President of India. In the meanwhile, if the Lieutenant Governor thinks the matter is urgent, he can take an immediate action on his own. It means if Lieutenant Governor has a difference of opinion, he is referring the matter to President of India. Means Home Ministry makes a decision on that. But meanwhile, if the matter is urgent, according to whose opinion? According to Lieutenant Governor's opinion, then he can act on that. Don't you see a kind of a conflict of interest? Lieutenant Governor, to amass his power, can't he declare a particular matter as urgent and override the state government over there to ensure his decision? That is what is the conflict. Now, this provision of Article 239 AA subclass 4 is the major reason for the rift between Lieutenant Governor and the government of the day in New Delhi. So, the recent decision of the Lieutenant Governor to override the Council of Ministers' recommendation of list of prosecutors is not in accordance with the spirit of the judgment of the Supreme Court in 2008. Finally, what is the way forward? The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi shall act more like a facilitator rather than as an administrator himself. The next article is Judicial Remedies for the Jammu and Kashmir Net Restrictions. You know that even after 1 year, the government of India is not allowing for the use of 4G internet in Jammu and Kashmir. Why can't government allow with proper monitoring and supervision the 4G internet services? You know, in the rest of India, today internet is the basis for information and access to various services. In states like Kerala, internet is also declared as a right. Access to internet is a right in few states as per the judgment of the High Court over there. In this scenario, not providing for the access to internet can also be seen as a deprivation of the rights of the citizens. The matter went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court here has in return gave the matter into the hands of a committee headed by the executive. So the executive committee is expected to decide either to give access to 4G internet or not. It is left to the subjective satisfaction of the executive committee. What is meant by subjective satisfaction? It means a discretion is given to the executive committee headed by Home Secretary. Previously, the Supreme Court gave the similar subjective satisfaction of the executive during ADM Jabalpur case, which is famously known as emergency case. So, when it is left to the subjective satisfaction of the executive, obviously, judiciary, rather than doing its judicial review function of the executive decision, again keeping the matter into the executive hands, that is expected to strengthen the executive hands and weaken the judicial review, judicial oversight over the protection of the rights of the citizens. That is the biggest issue in this article. The second, in the case of restriction of the internet, few other things are also diluted by the Supreme Court. What are these things? First, any kind of restriction shall pursue a legitimate purpose. Restriction shall be suitable to achieve whatever the purpose that is intended. Restriction shall be applied if by verifying that no less alternatives are available. It means you cannot use these particular restrictions if a better option is available to you. And next most important thing is proportionality. The adverse impact of restrictions shall be proportionate to their benefit. So there has to be a rule of proportionality. So when these four things are being there, then we can call it as a decision that has affected well for everyone. In this case, the government of India is continuing the restrictions irrespective of the proportionality of the damage it is causing. That's why the four-step test which is proposed by the Supreme Court itself is getting violated in the case of reasonable restrictions. That is what author is trying to say. The next article is what is criticism and what is contempt. So this article is written in the context of recent Supreme Court judgment which declared Mr. Prashant Bhushan as guilty of contempt. What Prashant Bhushan's defense was, he is just criticizing the court. So criticism shall not be equated with contempt. So Supreme Court of India, in case of Mugolkar, it said that it is not immune from fair criticism. And later, the truth is also stated to be a defense in matters of criminal contempt if it is bona fide and made in public interest. So, you need to ensure that it is made in the public interest. The criticism, it is not meant to malign or scandalize the court or create bad perception of the court in the public eye. That is what is required. So this is what is been clarified in this article. It is the most important article in today's discussion, reimagining and reinventing the Indian economy. Today we have got an economic crisis which is unprecedented. So how to bring the economy back on tracks, that is what is Mr. Hinduja talking in this article. So he has divided the government action among three categories: big business, MSME and startups. He says that the big business shall get the confidence in economy to produce more. They have to be incentivized by providing for access to raw materials and giving them the necessary tax incentives. Next, single window has to be developed by RBI to restructure the loans which are being given to the big business, SMEs, everyone. The NPAs are expected to increase once this process gets stabilized. So in this context, the greater autonomy to the banking sector is expected to take emergency decisions and necessary flexibility in the approach. Third, India shall make a plan to attract the investments which are expected to fly out from China. It is expected that almost 30 to 35% of investments may move out of China. India can make a proper investment plan to attract them to our shores. Make India a global trading hub. This is what is reiterated by Economic Survey also. Make India a participant to global value chains of production by providing for strong logistical mechanisms and also ports. You know, under Sagar Mala project, India is developing or making a port-led development agenda. We have to ensure that a quick progress. And there are certain sunrise sectors. Let us take lithium ion battery manufacturing for e mobility And deep tech like artificial intelligence, etc., these also need to be taken care of or they have to be focused. The state shall establish a self-contained industrial cities which have to have the entire infrastructure end to end to meet the necessary requirements of industry. And startups are suffering from liquidity trap. These need to be provided with necessary liquidity to pull off. And auto industry, even before this lockdown, etc., auto industry was facing a lot of trouble. So this definitely needs certain tax deductions to give a push to it. It adds up to 9% of our GDP. We need to remember that. And Maharashtra has brought in a plug and play model of investment. What is that? Environmental clearances, labor clearances, necessary land and other permissions. Everything the government officials will take care of. You need to go there, take your money, establish industry. This is called as plug and play model of Maharashtra that has to be encouraged across all the cities and all the states. Labor laws are being relaxed now. But however, indiscipline is coming now and then. We have seen this in Maruti Udyog Limited in Haryana. So that's why we need to arrest this indiscipline in rank and file in manufacturing sector. And NRIs and overseas citizens of India, these have to be attracted to invest in India. So it means we have to treat these NRIs as equivalents with the local residents. That is another point he stressed. And let us take, to understand the next point, let us take this example. You have got a company in India and a subsidiary in UK, and your UK subsidiary is in profit. And if you are being allowed to take these profits back home, there is a chance that on that money, certain tax, that certain cost is to be incurred. It is close to 15%. What author suggests is there has to be one-time repatriation of foreign incomes of Indian companies allowed for. That means with low cost of repatriation, we have to allow that money back to India. So when the low cost of repatriation, rather than investing them in some other units or tax havens, they will send that money back home. That need to be allowed for. Next, an offshore investment center like Singapore has to be developed. Mumbai can be a right place for this. What are these offshore investment centers? Their domestic laws and taxation will not apply. Those are offshore investment centers. These are the various ideas to revive the economy. These 13 points, if you can remember and reproduce in the exam, and also good for interview, that can make a big difference. The next article is a better test. You know that yesterday Yale University reported it has developed a better test which has got high sensitivity and which can be done with much speed at a lower cost. It is from the sample in our saliva. As the saliva is the sample, we don't need expertise to collect the saliva too. So this have to be taken up in India immediately. That is what this article is suggesting. The second most important point it is stating is in certain states the survival rates are very high and underreporting is also high. Probably the so-called less deaths in these states can be explained due to underreporting of the deaths, underreporting of the cases, which has to be stopped immediately. Testing, tracing, isolation, treatment. This has to be the way forward for us in India. Law could see Australians lose free search services, Google. You know that in Australia, a new law is being proposed. According to this law, news aggregators like Google or Facebook, they have to pay money to the commercial media companies. Let us put this way. If Hindus articles are being reflected in Google or Facebook, the Google and Facebook for taking their content, they have to pay money to Hindu. In this case, Google search engine, what it is saying, if we have to pay such a money to these media companies, it may end up costing the search business, or else if you want to take the Google search, it can become a paid option to you. That's what they are warning us. India Nepalese diplomats discuss bilateral projects. We need to remember the bilateral projects discussed over here. One is bridges on Mahakali River, Arun 3 hydro power projects, Pancheshwar multi-purpose project, Ramayan project, construction of Nepal Police Academy. All these are being discussed. You know that on Independence Day, Prime Minister Oli of Nepal called to Indian Prime Minister and sought meaningful bilateral dialogue. Next is Supreme Court to study context of charges against judges. Supreme Court of India decided to launch a detailed examination into the circumstances under which a person can make public allegations of corruption against a judge. You know that recently contempt case against Prashant Bhushan was proven guilty. In that, Prashant Bhushan has clearly stated that what he is trying to say over here is a fair criticism. And corruption he has used in a broader sense, not in the narrow sense of bribe. That's why Supreme Court wanted to examine this particular definition of corruption and how it has to be exercised against the judges. That is what is being discussed here. NEET JEE won't be postponed. Many of the students are asking me the question, will our prelims be postponed? If you see the mood of the Supreme Court over here, it has clearly stated that it is not willing to postpone any of the competitive examination keeping the students' future in mind. So you also cannot expect the exam to be postponed. Remember that. Finally, 4G SIM cards disconnect Ashas. This is about a case in Haryana where the government has given new SIM cards but not the phones which support them. In that case, Ashas are unable to take forward their works. More than that, the point of interest to me is this. In a study by ORB Media, it is proven that where the community health workers are strong, like Ashas, they play an important role in determining the healthcare outcomes. They enable equitable access to healthcare services. And in those particular areas, the survival rate of children below 5 years of age have increased. You need to remember these points. Thank you very much. Have a great day.